Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. I, F28, just learned that my fiancé, M31, cheated on me with my best friend, F27, NSFW. Sorry for the long post in advance. I am a mess. I created a second account in a hurry because my best friend and fiancé both follow me in my other account. Also, I am on my phone, so please pardon any formatting errors. Any names mentioned here are false, but the ages are accurate. Pretty much what it says in the title. I will start from the beginning. 4 years and a few months ago, my best friend Andrea, F27, and I moved to one of the biggest cities in the US together. Both of us had gotten jobs there, and though we were in the same industry, we were hired by different companies. We ended up sharing an apartment and life was great. One evening she called from her office and asked me to meet her at a bar. Her entire department was going out for drinks. Both of us were not dating yet. So I headed out and had a good time with them. A few days later, a guy who was at the party called and asked me out. Brad, I'm 31, is kind and smart and funny, and he made me laugh and paid attention to the smallest things I said. We began dating, and before I knew it, it got serious. We dated for 2 years and then he proposed. I accepted and we began planning for the wedding in earnest. I moved in with him soon after he proposed. We were going to get married in my small town, and his family and friends were happy to travel there. Andrea excitedly agreed to be my mo, not that she needed to be asked. Then COVID hit us in more ways than I could imagine. First, lockdown hit just as we were about to send out the invites. Then Brad suffered a 40% pay cut at work, followed by his losing his job a few months later. While he moped at home, I tried to keep his spirits up. WFH took a toll too, as I was asked to join meetings at 9 p.m., create dashboards at a moment's notice, and work on weekends too. Brad and I grew distant. Soon he began spending more and more time outside, telling me he just had to get out. I was okay with that, believing him when he said he was meeting his buddies. I was promoted late last year and that meant handling a team. I began spending more and more time at work. Brad finally got a job too, which did wonders for his self-esteem. Fast forward to Sunday night. We were about to go to bed and his phone rang. He was instantly super twitchy, telling the caller it was late and he would call back the next day. When asked who it was, he said it was someone from work and that he always calls at this time to discuss work. I knew it was a female voice because Brad keeps the volume setting at the highest level. I wanted to say that, but for some reason I did not pursue it. I checked his phone the next morning when he was in the shower and found Andrea's number saved as Bill C. And also a bunch of really racy texts. She sent him nudes and videos too. Their last conversation was what they will do to each other once she was gone. My dad suffered a mild heart attack recently and I am flying home this weekend to see him. My heart sank and I began crying. Brad emerged from the bathroom and instantly knew what was happening when he saw his phone in my hand, and my face. I confronted him, but he began making pathetic excuses, stating that he felt alone and all you do is work. I called Andrea, who denied everything at first. When I sent her screenshots from my number and demanded an explanation, she confessed to everything. She and Brad were having an affair behind my back for months. It all began when he lost his job, and she was pressuring him to break up with me. He would not do so she resorted to spreading rumors about my family to discredit them and to scare him into thinking that I would make him move back to my town after we were married. This I came to know after a lot of questioning. She also said that she and Brad had gone on a couple of dates before he and I met, and seeing him with me later really angered her. She even tried to get him to date her again after I began going out with him, but he turned her down. Brad's refusal infuriated her and she hit the gym and began doing yoga with a vengeance to, in her own words, get back at me. I have spent the last day crying, being angry, crying angry tears, and binging on takeout. Brad slipped out of the apartment as soon as he could, and I know that he is at her place right now. She has called to apologize, but I have blocked her number. She then called from his number too, but I cut the call as soon as I heard her voice. My dad called to confirm if I was indeed coming over, and I cried, but I did not tell him anything yet. He thinks I cried out of sheer relief because he is doing better now. I want to break up with Brad and sever all ties with Andrea for good, but first I need to see my dad. I am lost. Should I tell him? I hate myself for not noticing this earlier, and that I gave too much of myself to work. Also, Andrea's family and mine have been very close for decades. Andrea's mother and older sister have been nurses their whole lives, and they work at the hospital where Dad spent some time in the ICU recently. My mom is super grateful to them for all the help and support they gave us, and rightfully so. What do I do? How do I go about doing it? I am lost, angry and crying. TLDR, my fiancé cheated on me for months with my best friend, and I am at a loss as to what to do and how to do it. Tell your family. Break up. Don't ever talk to them. Just because your families have interpersonal relationships doesn't mean that you have to accept disrespect. Look at what they did to you. They didn't care about what their affair would do to you. Whatever happens from now on is their fault. They set all of this in motion, so they have to live with the consequences and take responsibility. Right. That our families know each other for so long has nothing to do with what happened. They need to know. All of them. Thanks for your reply. Andrea is an absolute piece of scum, and you don't need a disloyal liar like your ex-fiancé either. And absolutely tell your parents. They'll be in your corner, and I hope they do tell A's family/connections. One's shitty actions should be known, and she deserves bad press for being an absolutely dismal friend and human being. This was so manipulative, deliberate and hurtful. What a horrible, horrible woman. Usually I'm more angry at the cheating who also is just awful in this case, but here, Andrea was so calculated in her malice that it just stuns me. You are so strong for being able to kick him out, and you've done the right thing. I'm sorry you're surrounded by these two abhorrent human beings, and I hope you are able to enjoy time with your dad and mom. Tell them everything and then go back to the city and invest in you/changing your social group. Don't let these awful people in your life ever again. You deserve better. Change your locks too. Do not even entertain the idea of reconciliation. What a calculated, deceitful and cruel pair. They deserve each other even though they'll never make it. Yikes. Also, don't feel overly indebted to her family that it should in any way justify the evil she perpetuated on you. Her mom's job is to save lives, and that is what she helped with, and it doesn't at all excuse the fact that Andrea must and should be cut out of your life forever. And the work thing on your end? Your so should have spoken to you. Or had the decency to break up if he wasn't man enough to communicate. It's a cheap excuse for a guy who knows what he did is unforgivable, so he falls back on a flimsy, tired excuse. People have this disconnect in relationships all the time, and they don't betray the person they claim to love. Especially not with her closest confidant. Just sickening. Thank you so much for your reply. Almost 24 hours have passed since I knew, and part of me is still struggling to come to terms with what happened. That the two most important people in my lives ganged up behind my back and have been making merry at my expense. I just cannot imagine the gall. Your advice, all of it, is 100% going to be followed. I did not think of changing the locks, but that will happen for sure. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. He left like a coward with just the clothes on his back and his phone and wallet. His work laptop, all his stuff, is still here. He actually slipped out when I was screaming on the phone at her, and I didn't notice he was gone. He is going to be so surprised when he tries to enter, if he decides to come back. I still cannot believe Andrea did this to me. She was the sister I never had. I loved her so much. I cannot even bear to see her face or hear her voice now. She planned everything down to a T, even going as far as telling Brad that he should initiate sex with me just like he used to, so that I do not suspect anything. How charitable of that bitch. You are absolutely right, they totally deserve each other. Yes, I am going to tell my parents. My dad has to know what happened despite his health scare. He gave his blessing to Brad wholeheartedly, after Brad asked for his permission during a fishing trip. And I definitely want to be in the room when Andrea's family realizes what their princess did. It will cost me a small fortune to move up my flight, but I think I will do it and leave sooner. I simply cannot stay here now. As for your last point, not once did he complain that we were spending so little time together. If anything, he said it was alright when I brought it up, and that he was so proud of me. I guess she must have asked him to say all that pithy shit. You are a badass woman with a good, level head on your shoulders. Even in your pain you're wise, rational and self-loving. You're going to go on to much better things, and I will keep you in my thoughts / sending strength your way. You got this. What a loss for both of them, of a good woman and good friend, but you are a million steps above these two terrible people. You deserve way better, and I so admire your courage / strength. It'll get better, one day at a time. Thank you so much. This actually made me smile. I just discovered something. The act of cheating is in itself a massive gaslighting event. For as soon as I learnt about it, I began second-guessing myself. Did I do anything wrong? Did I screw things up? Was I working way too hard? I have never been this cynical. Yes, it's a massive loss for the both of them. Relationships born out of cheating never last for long anyway. After some time they will be so alone and so lonely in their tiny lives. I just hope it gets better for me soon, though. A part of me stupidly misses him still. I hate myself for feeling that way. One more thing, and take this from a girl whose dad had a heart attack scare around the time she had to leave her narc husband, is your dad will feel comforted to know his daughter is level-headed and protecting herself after you explain what happened and your actions to cut them out of your life. If you were a mess begging for advice and taking him back, it may worsen your dad's health / stress him out, but instead he can see what a good daughter he raised, who takes care of herself and doesn't tolerate disrespect. Don't lie to them to save his health. My dad, with whom I'm very close, would be devastated if I kept this big of a revelation from him. I am so sorry you had to go through all of that. I hope your dad is fine now. Yes, you are right. I need to do what has to be done and then support him. They deserve to know, and they will eventually be relieved that I handled it. My dad has always been a practical guy, and my mom can be overly emotional at times. I need to handle my mess by myself, and just give them the gist. First, none of this is your fault. If you did lean into work too much, that doesn't even remotely justify how horrible the two of them are. Drop them and move on. Yes, tell your family. Honestly, it might help the situation, as you're all kind of going through something right now. It's shitty and it sucks, but I think you'll all appreciate that you have each other. Thank you. Yes, I informed my mother already. She broke down, but I warned her not to tell Dad or my brother. I will tell them in person. Also, yeah. I hate myself for thinking it was all my fault. You were right, none of it is. The two of them can burn in hell for all I care. I am not crying anymore. I just feel white-hot anger, and I am seething in it. Thank you very much for replying. Everything you have said makes perfect sense to me, and I agree with it all. I am trying to leave sooner. I am on the phone with the airline to get my flight moved up to today or tomorrow. The one thing I found really strange is that Andrea always used to joke how much she hated me for how I looked, or that I never seemed to put on weight. I thought these were just jokes, and that was the end of it. I never would have thought that she would do all of this. And there is no knowing what else they did together. But at this point, I am tired, sleepy, and angry. I have blocked him as well. Someone has been calling from an unknown number, but I have not answered it yet. I am going full no contact. I cannot bear to hear or see them again. Yes, I have decided to leave sooner and come back later. I have already informed my manager and he is supportive. I just need to go away. I need my family now. And they need to know. I was the naive one here. I have seen a few marriages and relationships blow up, and I stupidly thought it would never happen to me. And I was conscious that I was spending too much time at work, but Brad assured me it was nothing. Funny that he used it as an excuse when I confronted him. I am going home ASAP, and I am telling my family everything. Her family needs to know this too. I am going to make it happen. Thanks again. I'm so sorry this happened to you. You will get through this. You can do this. Tell your family, activate your support system. Cut all ties. Be radically selfish in your own care. Take a vacation in nature after you see your dad if you can. On the other side of this hell you will find the real man of your dreams. Sending you love. Thank you. I am going to do everything that you suggested. It is time for me and my family to be at the center of my focus now. I have informed a couple of friends who are headed over as I type this. My mother knows too, though she has been warned not to tell my dad. Sending you so much love as you traverse and conquer this dark time in your life, heart. I F28 cannot believe my best friend did this to me. I feel like an idiot. Update NSFW again, apologies for the super long post. I have a lot to unpack in here. Thanks to everyone who replied and reached out. You guys are the absolute best. I am going to start from the beginning. After I discovered that Brad and Andrea were having an affair, Brad slipped out of the apartment and left for her place. I just sat there crying and cursing them and my life, and eating a lot of takeouts. I did, however, have the good sense to call a friend and she showed up with an army. Let's call her Madison. In all, 4 women came over. We sat and talked, and I told them everything. All of them were utterly shocked that these 2 cheated on me. I then realized that I was up for over 24 hours straight, and was really tired. I looked like an absolute mess. Madison asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to move up my flight so I could go home to my family sooner. They made me go to bed for a few hours while they packed my things for me. Some of my stuff was to go in storage. While I was sleeping, Brad tried to enter the apartment no less than 3 times, and each time, the girls drove him off. Finally, he begged them to at least give them his work laptop so he could hold on to his job, and they grudgingly agreed. I woke up to see all my stuff neatly packed and 3 of the girls left with some boxes to be put into storage. Madison stayed behind. Beth arrived about an hour later and then told me what Andrea did. I threw up right then and there on the carpet and decided I did not want to stay there anymore. I sent Brad a message telling him it was over, and that I was leaving. I took my luggage and left for Madison's place where I spent the night. I flew home the next day and was still slightly conflicted as to how to tell my dad everything. Finally, I did so and cried. He listened to me quietly and then spoke in a tone that I heard being used maybe 3 times in my whole life. Usually soon after that tone is used, someone dies or comes really close. He took his phone and walked out of the house onto the lawn and screamed blue murder at Brad for 20 minutes straight. After a lot of deliberation, it was decided that Andrea's family was to be told everything from my side, and Brad's family too. Nothing would be made public unless it really had to be. So yesterday was probably one of the most momentous days of my life. I went to church and met Andrea's family, who greeted me warmly. They asked me what I was doing in town and asked if Brad had come along too. It was at this moment I realized that they knew nothing. Andrea turned out to be such a coward that she did not talk about what happened at all. We had decided that we would not say anything in public, so we invited them home, and I told them everything. They were shocked beyond belief. Andrea's mother, who spent hours at my dad's bedside at the hospital to keep him company because my mother wasn't allowed in the ICU, was devastated and began crying. Her sister was shocked and cried too. She said that Andrea had not called for a week, which was unusual. They usually spoke at least 2 to 3 times a week, even if it was just for a few minutes each time. She then called Andrea right then, who said she was in Tahoe, and that she will call in a couple of days. When asked if she had hooked up with Brad, she hung up. Then her mother called her, whereupon she yelled, "Don't believe that effing underscore," and hung up. Brad's dad passed away about 2 years ago, so he is not in the picture at all. I called Brad's mother, who did not know either, and she was equally shaken by the news. She kept apologizing on her son's behalf and kept begging me to forgive her and Brad. I said there is no need for me to forgive her, as she had done me no wrong, but there was no way I would forgive Brad. She broke down and apologized, and hung up soon after. His sister called back and said she was ashamed of him, and that she would never speak with him again. I spoke to her for a few minutes and hung up. My dad is doing well, thanks to everyone who asked. He has had a stent put in that will dissolve in some time. I got myself tested and I am negative for any STIs. In an ironic twist, Andrea's sister was close at hand when I was being tested. My dad and I spoke to a family friend who is a cop, and he said that it is hard to pursue assault charges in such cases as the evidence is circumstantial at best. But a really good lawyer might be able to get the charges to stick. I have yet to decide if I am going to go the extra mile though to get them to face assault charges for what they did. I do plan to tell their company HR everything. Their days at that firm are definitely numbered. My family and I have decided that I need therapy. Maybe lots of it. This weekend I am moving to my aunt's place, who lives in a town about 60 miles away from my parents' home. There are some therapists there, and I might stay there for as long as therapy takes. I will visit my parents on weekends or as often as I can. I have spoken to my boss and my boss's boss too, and they have been very understanding and accommodating. I will live in my home state for a few months at least, and return to the West Coast city where I stayed only after I have gotten over this ordeal. The time difference might make things a bit difficult, but the knowledge that I am far away from them and close to my family is something that will see me through. I am not sure when my next update might appear here, but right now I am still struggling with what transpired in the last week. Indeed, with what happened in the last year or so. By my calculations, Brad began cheating on me with her approximately a year ago, which is absolutely appalling to me. If only he had said it was not working out, or asked me not to take the promotion, or just told me that I spent too much time at work. Would things have been different then? He was such a funny, smart, and kind guy when we met, and stayed that way pretty much till he lost his job. And Andrea, the less said, the better. I feel nothing but hatred for her now. Again, thank you so much for everything. A lot of you have expressed anger and outrage at how I was treated, and I respect that. I know I am in your thoughts and prayers and good wishes, and I have no doubt that I will bounce back from this. Right now, I am a work in progress, and I intend to keep working on myself. Wishing you all love and health and peace and prosperity. Oh damn, that's really ducked up. You're definitely not an idiot. What they both did to you is absolutely awful. Sorry you were treated like that. I cannot believe they both could stoop so low. I just hate both of them even more now. When I discovered they cheated on me, I could not fathom it for a second. But this is so unbelievably evil, I still shudder from time to time when I think about it. Karma will get them one day. I know she will. I agree, karma will come for them. You seem like a nice person. I hope you are able to find some friends who deserve you. Thank you for the update. Nothing left to say then, Duck Brad. Duck Andrea. Most welcome. I couldn't agree with you more. I definitely think you shouldn't file a case on them, unless you have a ton of savings for the lawyer you get. That kind of thing can drag on for months. I say let their hour know and wash your hands of them. Stay strong. You're doing so well. Honestly, I am on the fence about this. I do have a bit of money stashed away, but I need to know that it will really be worthwhile to spend even some of it, let alone all. If it's their first offense, a slap on the wrist. Depends on your legal system. You could always ask your lawyer what they'd be looking at as a charge. Thank you for the update. Your story was definitely very hard and shocking for me to read. I'm happy to know that you are in safe hands and have the support system you need. You made the right decision by going back to your hometown and getting the professional help you need to bounce back, which you will. Good luck, Hop. I know I will. And your support will ensure that I do. Thank you. It was difficult, but I have finally arrived at a decision. NSFW. It has been nearly 2 weeks since I realized what was going on. And I have another reason to hate both of them now, that they live rent-free in my head. My family has been great, my girlfriends call and make up silly stories and feed me gossip to keep my head occupied, and I love them for it, but I cannot get Brad and Andrea out of my head. Apparently, they enjoyed a long weekend in Tahoe. And now the apartment where Brad and I lived has been put on the market, which means he has possibly moved in with her. A couple of the girls who came home the other day work with these two, and I understand that their entire workplace now. Andrea was even sent a nasty email that made her leave early one day in tears. I have been doing a lot of thinking, and a lot of talking with people I love. It has not been easy to arrive at this decision. But I have decided to leave them alone. I was determined to do one thing, to report what they did to their employer. And the other thing I was on the fence about was to involve law enforcement and all lawyers and press assault charges on both of them. I have now decided to do neither. A lot of you were insistent that I should make them pay for what they did, but I have decided not to. As for why, I do not think they are worth another second of my time. My time is precious, and I will not waste it on these two vermin. They will pay for what they have done, and I will be around to watch. At the very least, I will hear of it. As always, I am thankful for your love and support. I hope you will support me with this decision too. If you do not wish to, I understand. I begin therapy next week, so please wish me luck. And I will give you all an update when something noteworthy happens. I support you in any decision that makes you happy. You've obviously thought long and hard and decided it's time to move on your way, more mature than me. I'm proud of you, and if this decision brings you peace, I'm here for it. I support anything you decide to do. Leave them to karma or destroy their lives, because I'm 115% on team #playing hooky 100. Thank you very much. Yes, I thought about it for a long time, spoke to my family and friends, and also prayed on it a bit. In the end, I am happy with the decision I have taken, and I just want to move ahead of everything that took place. If you have peace in your heart, then you are doing the right thing. I'm glad for you and pray that you can put this behind you and live joyfully going forward. I feel better having let everything go. And today, I have gone for hours without thinking of either of them. Things are definitely looking up. Is Brad still working at the same company as Andrea? Was he rehired, or did he get a job at a different company? It's a shame that you did not report them to HR. But then again, words have already spread. Andrea would probably quit her job, as I can't see her not getting isolated or dealing with a hostile working environment. Brad was rehired by the same company, though by a different department. Andrea and he used to be cubicle mates earlier, and that possibly contributed to their closeness, but he now works on a different floor. He was rehired at a significantly lower salary, and that's sort of a consolation to me. A small matter of pride for me. I make 3x what he makes now. I get why people asked me and still ask me to report them to HR. But honestly, I am sick of the space they have occupied in my head. I plan to forget, but never forgive. And I agree. Andrea will not last long. I think he will be slowly forced out too. Do what feels best for you. I am really glad that you have a strong support system that did not remain neutral in these matters. Andrea is probably seething with rage at the amount of support you are getting. As for Brad, well, he is a cheater, a loser and a coward. Have Andrea or Brad get in contact with their families? My friends always preferred me over Andrea, and that's because she can be petty and vindictive. While I let things go easily, she really holds on to grudges that should not exist. Also, all of my friends are small town girls. Andrea is from the same small town as I am, but she has this big city pride and belittles people from smaller towns despite her being from one herself. I visited my family at least twice a year apart from Christmas/New Year and Thanksgiving, and she once went 2 whole years without seeing her own family. She insisted that they visit her, which was difficult given the higher cost. And when they could not, she gave them the silent treatment, which was ridiculous. That was the reason for our biggest argument. I have always remembered where I came from and never called my home state a backwater state like she does. And yes, Andrea hated that. She kept referring to them as your friends when they actually worked with her. It irritated her that her colleagues wanted to spend more time with me. Not sure if they have gotten in touch with their respective families. Andrea's family still feels guilty somehow and has not called. I will meet them at church tomorrow, I guess. I might call Brad's sister soon. I've been following you for a bit. I think this was an incredibly kind decision for yourself. I'm glad you just want to do what's best for you. I would never tell you how to cope, but this is what I did when I was cheated on, and honestly, I'm really happy and I've recovered with little anger now. But if I may, don't be afraid to break down, write burn letters about it, and allow yourself to feel pain. I preferred to burn letters because it was a physical action I could take that only I knew about, and I wouldn't have to bear repercussions of had I sent them. I took every emotion for what it was and talked to myself like I would had my best friend gone through this. As long as you want what's best for you, you're going to be fine. Best of luck. Therapy will suck for a bit, but it's for the best too. Fermentation is disgusting, but without it we wouldn't have delicious beer, am I right? And that's it, really. I am doing this for me. I want to get ahead of this and forget them altogether as soon as possible. The burn letter sounds like a fantastic idea. And I could create a massive bonfire where I am right now and no one would even notice, lol. I am actually looking forward to therapy. I think it is effective and when done right really allows people to cope with whatever stresses they might be facing. Thank you. Longer showers and baths after being cheated on. Rant. Does anyone who was cheated on feel the subconscious need to take showers that are like, really long? I just realized that I have been doing it for days. I am all for water conservation, but it just feels that a longer shower might just help. And not cry in the bathroom while the water is running kind of shower. I have cried enough for this life. The other day I did not step out of the house at all but took an additional shower in the evening, which was odd and got me thinking. And I have begun taking long soaks in the tub, which was never my thing. I was always a shower girl. Nothing will wash away the dirt and grime of being cheated on, I guess. Water is relaxing, and often used as a metaphor of letting go like running rivers. I think baths/showers are a form of self-intimacy. It's an act of self-love. It's private, soothing, and feels like a fresh start. Wishing you healing. Yes, they are. Thank you. Unless it is waterboarding. I used to enjoy them. But the shower and bath was used for her to share her pics while I was unknowingly in the other room. Now it's literally all I think about while I maintain my hygiene, haha. I did. Still do. I felt disgusted, like I needed to just scrub everything off me. It's hard to explain. Same, it is like something really revolting is crawling under my skin and I need to get rid of it. Received an update from Andrea's sister. Shocked yet strangely peaceful. Coping. I traveled to my hometown on Friday to spend the weekend with my family, and I went to church a couple of hours ago where I met Andrea's sister. Her dad had come along too. She took me aside and said she had something to say to me. Could she drop by sometime later? I asked her if it was an update from Andrea and she said yes. I then asked her to tell me what the news was. She then reluctantly divulged that Brad had proposed to Andrea, and that she had accepted. Andrea then asked her family to visit her for the wedding, which is scheduled about 3 months from today. Her family refused to attend the wedding and then told her she was never welcome in their home ever again. Needless to say, the same applies to Brad too. I was shocked when I heard this. Sure, I was thinking up all sorts of situations for those two and the future of their relationship, and I am working through therapy to get over the betrayal. If you had asked me yesterday what my reaction would be if they decided to get married, I would have laughed and said something along the lines of all the best to them. And left it there. But, actually hearing of them getting engaged and planning the wedding scheduled for just 3 months away hit me like a punch in the gut. I could not speak for what seemed like a full minute, and just stood there with my mouth agape. Andrea's sister just stood there, held my hand, and stared at me anxiously. I am guessing she expected me to faint or in the very least sit down and ask for a stiff drink. She assured me that no one in the family would ever even talk to them again, and that her mother called her back and told her that if the wedding took place, she would be disowned and forgotten. I am selfishly happy that they took this particular stand, and although it is not my place, I hope they stick to what they told her. I came home and told my family, and they just took the news silently. My brother gave me a hug and then went back to working on the car. Mother quietly cried for a minute before she gathered herself and went to the kitchen, and my dad said nothing. I don't think that Brad's family knows about this just yet. His sister would have called up for sure if she knew. She hates him and Andrea too, and told him to stay the F out of their home. His mother lives with his sister's family since Brad's dad passed away. But since the last hour or so after the news was shared with my family, I am a lot calmer. I have always been a bit of an astronomy nut, and suddenly I was reminded of binary stars, you know, the ones that revolve around each other and gradually pick up speed and then collide in a massive explosion. That is what I think of when I am reminded of Brad and Andrea. I see them coming closer and closer, and then blowing up each other's lives to pieces. I see them destroying each other, and then nothing will be left of the two of them. Till then, they will be together, running around each other, though unloved and unwelcome by everyone else. Alone and unwanted. What a wasted life that will be. I am 100 times luckier. I plan to get drunk tonight. OMFG, I can't believe what I'm reading. You seriously dodged a bullet with that pushover, Brad. My gut is telling me that they're getting married in an attempt to save their faces after their horrendous betrayal being outed to everyone they know. But you ain't fooling me, dickheads. I don't even know you, but I'm so proud of your way of handling this. I truly wish you all the best. I actually dodged a bullet. And yes, they are desperately saving face. Who does that after being told you will never be welcome back in your family? It still boggles my mind. Thanks for the good wishes. I'm happy for you, I'm happy that their families are disowning them, etc. I promise you they'll be asking forgiveness in couple more months from now, but I think by then you'll living your life and being happy with someone else who treats you like a queen. Karma is going to get them worse. The only reason why they are getting married is because they feel guilty and have nobody but themselves, but I know he's gonna cheat on her and she will come back asking you to get out of that marriage. Their marriage is based on lies. Not true love, so they'll gonna be miserable. I'd if you might help her or give her advice. I'm proud of you and I wish you the best in life. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. Trust me when I say that odds are this face-saving debacle will have the opposite effect. Anytime anyone pieces together that you broke up with him and he married your long-term best friend 3 months later, not a good look. No way, that's not drawing some serious side eye. I feel like if you Google how to be the shittiest lowlife friend/BF in the world, this story would come up. In fact, I'm loath to think of something that makes you look like a bigger asshole. It probably exists, but I can't think of what it would be. I'm glad you got your closure. I'm happy for you that your ex-best friend's family is supporting you. Now onward to healing and future happiness. Right? And it was delivered to me on a silver platter. Now I can keep it aside and move on. Andrea's family was my family too since I was a teen. They still cannot believe she could have been this mean and conniving and frankly, evil. Considering how vindictive Andrea is, after losing her family, friends, and maybe even job from what you mentioned in your previous post, I wonder how long it will be before she turns her ire on Brad. After all, who does she have left? And as for him, I'm sure it's nipping away at him how much he gave up for this woman, and he's silently second-guessing himself if it was worth it. It wouldn't be the first time cheating lovebirds turn against each other once the sheen of the affair wears off and the reality of everyday life settles in, and their new reality is already starting off on a very sour note. BTW, I bet it was her idea to pressure him into proposing so soon. What a disgusting pair of worms they are. I think so as well. Brad was a spineless weasel for sure, but he will begin to second-guess himself. Andrea's total domination of him is what led to everything, and she knows she cannot let up for even a second. But it will be nice to see the rubber band snap. Soon he will realize that he gave up on me and settled for her. Once the affair fog ends, the unwinding will begin and I will be there to watch. I don't doubt that at all. Andrea always talked about getting guys to put a ring on it to seal the deal and lock them down. She has definitely pressured him to propose. It was her idea to go to Tahoe after she realized that Brad and I had initially planned to go there before the pandemic, so she just had to have what I could not. And that says it all right there in a nutshell. It just shows how pathetic she really is. She thinks she's superior to you, but actually she's just weak and insecure. She's so envious of you, and probably others for that matter, that she had to steal what she saw as yours and claim it for herself. And what did she get as her grand prize for all her efforts? A spineless weasel for sure. For your family's credit, there's not much they can say. What do you say to that? They are angry and hurt, too, but they're probably trying not to pile that negativity on you. And I think your assessment of their situation is accurate. It won't happen overnight, but their lives will be tainted by this cruel behavior. Yes, they are angry and hurt. I have never seen my mother cry out of such sheer helplessness. And that gives me even more reasons to hate both of them now. They will burn in hell together. Looks like they had no other choice but to get married this way. No matter how happy they outwardly seem, they will never be truly happy and will soon rue everything they did. Good for you, and I'm glad you have support and a bit of closure. Get drunk, don't drive, and start your life tomorrow. It'll be good, I'm betting. Indeed. Tomorrow will feel a lot better than today. Solidarity seems to be as rare as hen's teeth in infidelity. No one on their side at all give a damn for me being cheated on. Glad to hear so many are fully on your side of this. Good luck to you. What is surprising is that Brad's family is 100% with me too. I used to think their support will taper off after a few days, but Brad's mother kept calling and apologizing. Brad's sister told me flatly he is dead to us now. They seem a lot more saddened by the fact that I could not become family thanks to his actions than him not coming home anymore. Two cheaters getting married. Yeah, that will work out. I wonder who will cheat first, or if one is already forward. Keep moving. They are behind you. Have a great life. Oh yeah. I have left these two losers in the rear view mirror a while ago, and they just gifted me closure. I, F28, cannot believe that my best friend, F27, and my ex-fiancé, M31, did this to me. NSFWTW, infidelity. All names are false but the ages are accurate. I am F28, my ex-fiancé Brad is M31, and my ex-best friend Andrea is F27. Brad cheated on me for months with Andrea when he lost his job due to COVID. Check my post history to read about that. I am at home with my parents and brother, and they all know now. My dad, who is recovering from a mild heart attack he suffered recently, took the news well. But I really want to talk about how horribly evil Andrea really was. She realized she wanted Brad when I began dating him and pursued him aggressively. She and Brad went out on a couple of dates a few months before Brad and I began dating, but it just fizzled out somehow, her words, not mine. Her aggression turned into an obsession after I moved in with him. Andrea and I shared an apartment, and after Brad proposed I moved in with him. She has been living alone ever since. Since I found out about their cheating on me, more and more facts have come to light. One of them is the thing that disgusts me most. I cannot keep it bottled inside me anymore. One of our mutual friends, Beth, brought this up after she realized that Brad and I had broken up. Andrea confided in her that she was seeing a guy who was engaged and gave some gory details of their affair. Beth thought it was someone else, as she thought that there was no way Brad and Andrea would be having an affair, so she brushed it off without giving it another thought. But she realized what was going on when she heard of my breakup with Brad, and told me the entire story after she learned that Brad cheated on me. Andrea made Brad do her raw once. And when he was done, she refused to let him take a shower or wash up. And she sent him straight home to me where I was busy working, WFH due to COVID, and asked him to demand oral from me as soon as he entered the apartment. And I remember the day because I humored him, although I thought it was strange that he would ask me that as soon as he walked in. And she asked him to confirm that I had indeed given him oral. Andrea mentioned all of this to Beth and then told her I wanted to make her taste me on him and laughed. It has been weeks since I was informed of this by Beth, and it still makes my skin crawl. I have since decided to do nothing despite the advice of many people who wanted me to charge the both of them with assault. Brad and Andrea have since gotten engaged, and I am in therapy back home. I moved back to my small town in the southern US. The two of them still live in the West Coast major city where I lived and worked for years, first with Andrea and then with Brad. Edit, this is a repost. The M0Ds removed my post from this sub earlier as I posted an update link as an edit. I did not know that you couldn't post links, so it was taken down. Edit 2, thanks for the rewards, everyone. I reposted this not to karma farm, God knows you cannot do anything with karma, but to ensure that my post stays up. The ones who commented you saw it a total of 4 to 5 times, not sure where you saw it. Andrea and Brad were and still are colleagues, and did go out a couple of times. One of those dates was actually a double date with another couple. The second date did not lead to anything special as both of them just spoke about their past relationships over a couple of drinks. This was months before he asked me out, and Andrea actually mentioned that nothing happened between them. And yes, they are engaged now. Brad proposed to her last week, and their wedding is set for a date that is less than 3 months away. She seems quite perverted, and it seems doing it behind your back was a big part of their fun. She was a shifty friend who had twisted ideas meant to hurt you, and he was an asshole for doing it behind your back and agreeing to humiliate you that way. Not sure how it was supposed to play in their sick fantasy, but they likely didn't care of the damage it can do to you and your self-esteem. I think it's a classic case of a competitive best friend wanting what she has and doing what she can to get it. However, like you said, a big part of their relationship was likely sneaking around behind her back. Once they realize that she's moved on, the friend is just going to want what she has once again and get sick of this guy, and he's going to realize that he was being manipulated this whole time. It's all based on jealousy and competition, not real love. It'll fall apart sooner or later. Once the excitement of the chase and the perversion of the cheating wears off, she will be bored and start something with someone else's man. It's a game and he is a pawn. I bet they don't last a year. She was always envious of me. Right from high school, she would pass snide remarks or make faces when something good happened to me. This was a way for her to have what I couldn't, while degrading me at the same time. Good thing she is out of your life, BTW. Don't be surprised if Brad calls you crying in a couple of years, because she's either gonna cheat on him or play games with him, or he might end up miserable after he finds out what he left for a backstabbing friend of yours and that he is a cheater now. Either way, they don't deserve to be in your life. You deserve better, and I hope you find happiness and love for yourself. Oh, he will come back and apologize profusely, there is literally zero doubt in my mind. He's going to realize that she isn't who he thought she was, that she completely manipulated him. She's probably going to be crazy, obsessive and abusive with him as well. Don't let him try to apologize to you. You seriously dodged a bullet like someone else said. I'm sorry you had to go through this, that's some shitty luck. An asshole boyfriend and an asshole best friend. You'll find people who treat you like you deserve. Edit an asshole boyfriend and a psychopath best friend. They are now engaged and he actually gave her the same ring which I left behind. It will be interesting to see how long it lasts. You have dodged a major bullet with both of them. For Brad to do that to you shows how much of a doormat he is or how much he really did not care for you. The cheating on you was bad enough, but to purposefully possibly expose you to any disease Andrea had means he is devoid of any common decency. If they had done anal, it could have exposed you to serious medical issues. Andrea was never your friend and you are so much better off with her away from you. Their relationship will not last, 1 because Andrea is pure evil and 2 because Brad is a complete jellyfish. Good luck. He is a spineless fool, that is for sure. She has manipulated him to the extent where he might not see his whiner anymore when he looks down. I got tested and I am clean. If they had given me a STI, I would have reacted very differently. Sorry, but she was getting an eat my shit surprise buy. It saddened me that she felt she had to do it to me, considering I was so good to her all these years. Then came the anger. But I controlled myself somehow and decided to ditch her once and for all. Seeing how her family reacted to the news, I did not hold anything back when I spoke to them, and their assuring me that she was dead to them is the best revenge I could get. Where were you all my life? NSFW. I bought a rabbit vibrator and a vibrating butt plug recently. About a week later, I bought the Hitachi wand as well. A friend has been recommending that I buy the speed adjuster for it too, and I will order that in a day or two. And all I can say is, I wish I bought these things earlier. Like, were ye earlier? Oh my ducking god. Thought you meant a bunny rabbit at first and thought it was a strange combination. LOL. I should have been more specific, right? Edited. Let me introduce you to the F-machine gigolo, that under wand can make me go until dry. Seriously, this needs to not be taboo. I could have been ducking myself stupid this whole time lol. Thanks. I will look it up. My life changed when I invested in good quality sex toys. I feel like I'm blacking out and transcending this physical plane every time I come. Recommendations? Tracy's dog. Is that a brand? Is there a specific style that is better than others? I won a giveaway for a $150 gift card to an Australian brand called Do Companion, so I ended up spending an additional $150 for a 3-pack of sex toys. One was one of the typical large silicone vibrators, one was a mini bullet vibrator, and the third was a vibrating sucker valued at $300 itself. Holy shit, did the vibrators and suckers change my life. Never had an orgasm like that before. Give me some slow fingering while the vibe is on and I'm coming in 1 minute. When Americans stop treating sex and sexual satisfaction as a sin and something to be hidden away, the better we will all be. Congrats. I'm so happy for you. Thank you. Sex was always important to me, but I was more on the giving side. It was only in the last year or two that I began understanding that I deserved as much as I gave, and asked my ex to participate more and include more foreplay. Now that I am by myself, I am using everything at my disposal to make me happy. Good on you. I've always believed that my partner should receive more pleasure than me. I'm easy. But if she's not so stated that walking afterwards is a struggle, I'm not doing my part. Wait till you visit Britain. Yeah. You sure about that? I was gifted a Hitachi and it's been sitting, new, in the box, since May. Oh, you should open that box and fire up that baby as soon as you can. I have not stopped smiling since I have begun using it. I am not lying lol. Rabbit vibrator. I was picturing a little vest that you put on a ducking rabbit. And then it vibrates the rab. Never mind. Wait, what? Lamau. Buy Tracy's dog immediately. It has a sucking feature for the clit. Will change your entire life. Omit. Hitachi is the shit. I agree. Honestly, it's always good that you can please yourself, and especially worth it after what's happened to you. When to check before replying to make sure it's not just another OnlyFans trying to promote. Keep those even if you get into a relationship. Fun you have alone can be experienced in a pair, and enjoy them. Brad and Andrea are done for. And he gave her the same ring he gave me. Recovery. I am doing well so far. 2+ weeks of therapy later, I think there is an improvement. Therapy is working, but it is a long, drawn-out process. My therapist thinks I have done everything right so far, but there is still a lot more to deal with. I spoke to Brad's sister yesterday and discovered that he has not disclosed the engagement to his family yet. As far as his family is concerned, the two of them are eloping. What a spineless coward and a waste of humanity. She also said that he will be cut off from his mother's will. Brad's dad owned a couple of buildings and some land in SoCal, the ownership of which was passed down the family. After his demise in 2019, Brad's mother and sister began handling these assets. Brad was approached several times to help take over their upkeep, but he refused, though he did insist that his share of the rent from the buildings be sent to his bank account each month. Though there was some pressure from Brad to sell, they did not relent. She said that her mother has all but altered the will, and he will be soon cut off. They might even take preemptive legal action to ensure it stays that way. It is official, they want nothing to do with Brad anymore. I met Andrea's sister yesterday and she showed me some pics that Andrea had sent her. Apparently, Brad told her that his family is refusing to attend the wedding, and she went hysterical. She sent some pics to her family in a desperate attempt to get them to attend. They looked so fake together in them, it was like someone held a gun to both their heads and made them pose. And, he gave her the same ring he gave me when he proposed. When I left the apartment we shared, I was in such a mess that I did not think of taking the ring away with me. I took it off and kept it on a coffee table. Turns out he proposed to her with the filth I left behind. When I saw the pics that Andrea had shared with her sister, I could not help but laugh. I bet Andrea thinks it was store-bought just for her. Bursting that bubble will be fun. You are a strong woman. I've read your previous posts and not gonna lie, I would not have been as calm as you did. You have a great support system. Your family, your friends and your boss seem like genuinely wholesome people. I hope that you'll be able to move on and focus on yourself. Wishing the best in everything for you and your family. You are too strong to take this, and how good you are improving. I love these updates. They are the best. After Andrea sent her photos, is her family going to the wedding or not? You are a strong-willed lady. I have been following your posts. Glad you are healing fast. Be grateful that you did find out about this scum before marriage and kids. I was seriously worried about you when I first read your first post. I can feel the change in the way you present things in your posts now. The change is clear and good for you. It is great to hear the progress you made so far. You got a good support system for you. And how is your father doing? Just a simple suggestion, try to be as distant as possible with those two scums' families. Yes, those family members didn't do anything wrong and they are supporting you, but with the passage of time they are family, so they eventually come back. They will become huge trigger points for you in the process of healing. Try to talk about this in your future therapy sessions and act on it. Once you make a decision, convey that to both families why you are making this decision and what will it do it. By your posts I get that you are a big people pleaser, but in this situation you need to put you and your family first. So think on this. And by the way, you posted that Brad's family are not attending their marriage but never mentioned if Andrea's family is attending or not. If yes, then you get your answer for the above mentioned decision. As for the bursting bubble for the ring, if you have any photos left of you with that ring, try subtly sending that to Andrea via her sister, stating that you may sent that to her long time back before this shit show, and sister stumbled upon the pic once she sent the pic with the ring. And go get your popcorn for that, because as per me, no woman wants a ring that has been proposed earlier to X unless that ring is an heirloom, so drama begins there. Yes please, regarding sending pictures of you and the ring to her sister. You/playing hooky 100 girl, please do this. I think she knows. And knowing her, she must have relented only after making him promise that he would give her a way better ring in the future. Would be nice to rub it in her nose though. I will set this in motion. Yes please do. And have any mutual friends that are still in contact with her to casually mention it too. Done. I can be mean too, damn it. Yes. Let me know how/if she responds. Did it? She went crazy. I had just the right pic to send to a friend who then sent it to her, a pic of me holding up my hand where my face is clearly visible. Thank God for iCloud. Apparently, a loud shriek ensued in the office, followed by super loud stomping as she exited the floor. She has been pestering him to buy her a new one since. This should be fun. And yes, I arranged for her to see the pic when I knew both of them would be at work. Ha 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 ha, well done. You are now my hero. Any replies? No, nothing yet. I was unable to visit my family this weekend due to work, and I have not heard from Andrea's sister. Keep that large bag of popcorn close by. I might just need a whole freaking popcorn machine, my friends say. And, he gave her the same ring he gave me when he proposed. Wow. Not only is he a lying spineless betrayer, but he's cheap as well. What a catch. Right? Wouldn't she know it was the same ring he gave you? She must be so humiliated to be wearing the same ring. She knows. And knowing her, she must have relented only after making him promise that he give her a way better ring in the future. Technically, it's his ring. Super tacky to give her, of course. Is it really healthy for you to stay connected to his family? Our families have known each other for decades, really. And I see them maybe once a week. Andrea might be pregnant, and Brad is flat broke. This keeps getting better and better. Recovery. So I got this news last night. Andrea and Brad are on the move, friends-wise. They have reached out to colleagues in the hope of making some new friends and have gone on a couple of double dates. After one such date, a woman they socialized with remarked at work the next day that Andrea refused to drink alcohol. When probed, she made an excuse about acidity. Brad has been very supportive, she said, and gave his arm a squeeze. He gave her a smile in return. Obviously, this woman is no fool. She immediately added up the numbers and told one of my friends, hooray for friends and shared bathroom breaks, what transpired the previous night. Not a visible glow yet, but Andrea stuck to a salad with too much dressing and extra croutons. I know that's her go-to comfort food, something she absolutely has to eat when something is wrong. Or when something is unexpected, like a pregnancy. On another note, Brad reached out to his sister asking for some money. His expenses have shot through the roof ever since he moved in with her, he said. She expects him to pay rent and they eat out at least 3 days a week. She has begun pressuring him to get her a new ring too. His sister refused to loan him any and told him he had to stop calling since his sister and mother, have all but severed ties with him. She also reminded him that he was the one whose infidelity led to all this. He then asked when will they begin to sell the various properties they have in SoCal, and she replied that he did not need to know. She then hung up the call as he began to go crazy. As tasty as these updates are, I think I should stop hanging out with Andrea's sister. And maybe tell Brad's sister not to call me anymore, as our lives have long been on diverging lanes. But not yet. I think I will listen to just a few more updates, and then it's goodbye. I love this new ride I am on. It is thrilling, exhilarating, and has brought me nothing but good news. Hi up, why do you want to break contact with both of them? As I understand from your posts, both of them are showing truthful friendship. Why not accept it as it is? Don't you consider that after the support that they are giving you, if you break with them, they can be resented? I'm guessing, I'm not gonna speak for this is just a theory if I was in her shoes, that maintaining contact with either of their sisters was to get the dirt on her ex-BFF and ex-fiancé, plus families have a tendency to have a statute of limitations on which to punish a family member who did wrong, not always, but it is a thing that happens, so it might only be a matter of time before they pick their siblings over Op and Op gets burnt. Not only this, but I think Op is starting to feel that level in their healing process that letting go of reminders will help with the moving on process. Unfortunately, these sisters are reminders of what was done to Op and what was lost. Letting go of Andrea's family will be very difficult if not impossible, as our families have known each other for decades. Our dads have known each other since they were both teens. And yes, both families are showing a lot of genuine empathy and still apologize whenever I run into them, or when we talk. Maybe I should just keep a cordial friendship going with both families and ask them to refrain from sharing info about the two of them. I think that's a good idea. I've given people a speech of why I don't want to be in contact with them anymore, but realized sometimes it happens organically and that's even better. I don't think you're just using them as they need you as well to talk about this huge issue that caused major consequences in their immediate family. I know how it would feel to want to just sever the tie, so cathartic. But your reactions seem very level-headed, so I think you'll do what is best for you. Don't break contact with the sisters, just tell them you don't want to hear about Brad or Andrea anymore. I think that's the way to go too. Hey, North Carolina is the goal, but karma is fun. I actually hope they marry, and either end up bitterly resenting the other or even better, they sleep around with each other. Relationships built on deceit, especially affairs, always end up horrifically. Of course, relationships born of cheating seldom work. It will be interesting to see who strays first. Do not say goodbye to those people, talk to them so they do not mention it to you. Delicious. I love the smell of vindication in the morning, winking face, smiley face, thumbs up. Please stop obsessing over what they're doing in their lives. They did an awful, disgusting, despicable thing to you that you didn't deserve, but obsessing over all the bad that's happening in their lives is only going to drag you down too. What happens if you start to hear all the good things too? Do you want to have to hear about their 2.5 kids and their happy marriage if they end up making it work? Please, talk to your therapist, and tell them that you're still deeply involved in their goings-on. You need to break the connection. Agreed. I will stay friends with them as they have been very good to me, and I know it is not just goodness that comes out of guilt over what their siblings have done to me. My therapist knows about the various updates I receive, and she has categorically mentioned not to ask for updates. If an update comes my way, I must just take everything they say with a giant grain of salt, process it, and then move on. Stay on point is her mantra. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.